And you'll understand why in a few minutes. So let me share the screen with you. So this is an article by an organization called Real Estate News. And I want to read it to you. In its latest report, the CFA, which is called the Consumer Federation of America. So what is a key word in real estate for future real estate? What's the key word? Consumer. What was the key word for Titanic real estate? Agent. This is the hardest thing for us to get. And can I tell you, can I be arrogant for a minute? It's hard for me because I did better, sold better, and made more money than about 50 of you put together. In the last 3 years, I've had to completely humble myself. Why? Because I don't want to die looking down the corridor of black and white photographs of yesterday. I want to die walking into the color photograph of tomorrow. And tomorrow, the scenario is completely different. Now, listen to what the Consumer Federation... Now, you read Realtor.com, and they'll tell you... not Realtor, NAR and CAR, they'll read you something different because they're cooking the numbers. But this is what's actually happening in the industry. In its latest report, the CFA continues to cast a critical lens on what has been a bloated industry where too few agents can succeed. Real estate sales has... the Consumer Federation of America report on a surfeit of real estate agents. Highlights the high number of agents and low number of sales. Most agents have only 5 or fewer sales in a year, and half real estate agent survey report just 1 or none. Few brokerages offer the mentorship that inexperienced agents need. And may I add, if they do offer mentorship, it's how to do an open house, how to join a Bible study or some sort of women's group so you can get enough people in your sphere of influence, how to do another listing package, how to do buyer interviews and seller interviews, which is completely disconnected from real estate of the future. Real estate sales has a relatively low barrier of entry. Sorry, guys, but it's true. Nearly anyone can become a licensed agent with as few as 40 hours of education in a challenging market and at a time when the industry may be forced to change. The DOJ, the American legal system, is in the process of forcing the real estate industry to change. My intention is not to take our savings, look down the corridor at black and white photographs, but to take our savings and invest in what I see as next. And we are part of that. Is it risky? Yes. Do we have to lay people off left, right, and center and find others? But eventually the cream rises to the top. And that's happening in this room. In a challenging market, when the industry may be forced to change, it's only gotten tougher. There's over 1.55 million real estate agents in America. A new report from the Consumer Federation of America, the third and final installment in its series, even more of an issue than previously reported. Half of agents completed just one deal in the last year. For its report, the CFA looked at a sample of 2,000 agents from 20 major brokerage firms across 4 U.S. regions and found the vast majority of agents are only closing a few deals a year. Almost half of the agents surveyed reported either no sales or just one sale in the past year. 70% logged 5 or fewer sales, the report said. To get by, these part-time agents are often working other jobs or depending on a spouse or other family member to make household ends meet. And that's the challenge. That so many people who have a real estate agent license have a husband or a wife who makes enough money to support them. Or they have for example, a VA pension or a government pension or some other source of income that they do not depend on this. Therefore, they are stubborn, they refuse to change, and they say, no, this is my way. Tomorrow the market will be better, tomorrow the market will be better. All that a good market is doing is concealing what's happening in the industry. The worst thing that could happen right now is we have a unilaterally good market, thousands of properties hit the market, interest rates are 1%, and real estate agents will be, see, I can do whatever I want and make money. But that's not an industry, that's an opportunist. The United States government is going to radically transform the real estate industry in the next 5 to 10 years. More important than the United States government is consumers. Consumers are radically transforming the industry, saying, hey, it's about us, it's not about you. And we have the answers. I swear to you, we are committing hundreds of thousands of dollars of our personal funds because we believe in the answer that we're doing. While agents tend to skew older, it's the newbies who are barely scraping by, often earning an income below the poverty level. NER's 2023 member profile revealed that 52% of agents within 2 years or less experience reported an income of less than $100,000. The median net income for agents was $8,500. Some of these agents still live with their parents, and many of these agents eventually decided to quit. The numbers appear to bear this out. According to the latest membership data from NAR, the organization lost 17,000 members in November and December and posted its first ever year-over-year decline, first since 2012. Changes across the industry could push more agents out, especially buyer's agents, who may be unwilling or unable to promote their value in a world where buy-side compensation is not guaranteed. Laura Ellis, who leads strategy for Chicago-based brokerage Baird & Warner, recently offered the advice to agents in light of legal changes to commission practices. In order to make it in the real estate business moving forward, you've got to give it 110%. You're going to have to put in those hours and be highly trained. And that takes time, it takes energy, and it is more than a full-time job, especially in the first few years. I have never been a person to lie, and I've never been a person to BS. Those are the facts. So in the light of that, my view of this is exactly this, that the real estate industry as we know it is the Titanic. The Titanic has been hit. And right now the glacier is ripping through the hull with a bone-chilling scrape. There are two groups of people. One group of people are on the Titanic, the good old boys, saying all we need is a better listing presentation. All we need is a better library of education. All we need is to give agents more money percentage. All we need is, and they're standing on the deck like the British people on the Titanic saying, I say, chaps, let's rally together. The Titanic can't possibly sink. All of the captains of major vessels across the world said the Titanic could not be sunk. The Titanic is sinking. Now, what happened when the Titanic sunk? You had people scrambling to the decks, and the intelligent people went, we're going in that water. We need to be prepared. They got the lifeboats, of which there weren't enough because the industry was so arrogant. They all said nobody can take us down. They took those lifeboats, and brave people put those lifeboats in the water, and people drove into this freezing water. And some brave people on those boats hauled people in and saved their lives for the next generation. I believe I'm the captain of a lifeboat. We're definitely not doing you first. You sink the boat. 10 minutes is up, so my introduction is almost over. So watch the ocean. Then what's the ocean in that analogy? The ocean is consumers. And it's consumers and consumer advocates. That's the world we live in. Medicine, travel, retail, Amazon principle, consumers and their advocates. Who's the advocate of consumer in retail? Amazon. You understand? Who's the advocate of the consumer in travel? Expedia, Travelocity. Who's the advocate of the consumer in real estate? God knows. Right now it's Zillow. Because they prioritize the consumer first, and they're right. They saw the tide changing. That's exactly where we are. So we're going to invest our money in building systems that A, attract consumers, and B, convert consumers into a transaction that we will all get paid. And let me tell you something. I'm not the least bit afraid about the DOJ changing the pay structure for buyer's agents. Not in the least. Because number one, sellers, listing agents are too incompetent to work with buyers. Number two, most of them are so stuck up, buyers don't want to work with them anyway. Number three, they've got a Titanic mentality and think all they got to do is list it, build beautiful pictures of themselves, and a buyer's agent will come to the site and sell it. That's going away. Now they're going to have to do dual agency, which the government won't allow. So who's going to represent the buyers? We are. So we are going to become experts. Do you see how excited I am about this? It's like almost like a religion to me. We are going to become experts. You know why? Because people need buyer's agents. We might not be called that. We might be called B.O.Bs. Doesn't matter. But people need us because the listing agents cannot do it, will not do it, are not educated enough to do it, are not trained enough to do it, and don't have any volition to do it. Because they've been told easy money. And easy money is usually corrupt money. And it's going away. Tremendously exciting. But we have to be saleable. We have to be marketable. That means we have to be measurable, dependable, and predictable. You might want to write those words down. We have to become measurable. We have to be predictable and dependable. Then the giants who have the ocean the Titanic is sinking in, the giants who represent those consumers will need us. Because Zillow will not go out and hire 10,000 agents. It's not going to happen. They're a consumer-facing technology company. So our need is going to be greater than ever in the history of real estate. Think about that. And we are going to get paid. If we're measurable, if we're quantifiable, if we're dependable, if we're accountable. And that's exactly what our systems are built around. That's the introduction. So I'm going to go off this. And I need you to share Bob, please. Can you share, unshare? Be patient with me for a second, guys, please. Please don't lose attention. Stop share, I did it. Do it, my brother. Did you hear that? Patrick just said 45% of real estate brokers are struggling to pay rent. Yeah. And guys, we just announced, we genuinely have 54 properties in escrow. 48 of them are scheduled to close. Honestly, 35 of them will close. Do you realize how extraordinary that is? And by the way, we're coming out of Christmas season. You wait till March and April. You wait till this ISA thing kicks in. We're going to see 50, 60 or more by the middle of the year. It's exciting what we are doing. And I said to Patrick when he came in, I get emotional about this. I said, God bless you on your appointment. And I know you'll be watching every second. He was so respectful. Came in, I want you to think I'm sloping out, but he's got an ISA appointment set. I said to Patrick, we need you this year. And I said, not the production. Thank you for the production. But we need you to help lead people that they understand the mentality it takes to be a success in this business. I got to touch one last thing very quickly. Can you imagine if you were in the gas sales business, Pat? You're in the gas sales business. And you say, yeah, I'm going to open gas stations and I believe in the old way of distributing gas. I'm not going to accept what's happening with electric cars. I'm not going to accept what's happening with traffic. I'm not going to build any gas stations by the freeway. I'm just going to build them in really specialist areas like Lake Arrowhead when I can get $2 more a gallon. Or in Corona Del Mar by the ocean where I can get $2 more a gallon. That's what's happening in the real estate industry. The traffic is where the business is. You've heard me say this 1,000 times. And we've got real estate agents saying, well, I'm so jolly good in some retirement community or jolly good down by the bench. Great, congratulations. Let's talk about the other 340 million people in America. And that's what we're after. Okay, so we've got Bob up. Can you please go to view full screen? View up at the top, right there. Full screen, bottom, bottom, yep. Okay, and reduce down the size a little bit so we can see more of it. And you're going to need to follow my instructions pretty closely here as we go through, okay? If you want me to. So how do I share from here? Oh, I can do it right here? Perfect. So it's going to be a little small when I do this, but here we go. All right. View. Full screen. Okay. Before I start this is very detailed, specific training. Does everybody understand why I gave that introduction? We're doing this, guys, to be measurable. If we're measurable, we're scalable. If we're scalable, we're invincible. That's what we're looking for, that predictable production. Is everybody with me? Mm-hmm. I'm not interested that you found one friend who proves that they can do whatever they want and they can do 5 deals next year. That's like those last people standing on the Titanic singing God Save the Queen and drinking their last bottle of champagne. I'm not interested. Exactly, right? But you get the point. Let's add value to ourselves. Look, you survive if you're valuable. We as human beings, unfortunately, become complacent. I've never been a pride guy. I've always felt, look, I'm a marionette, for God's sake. I mean, give me one piece of logic in that. The only way she will stay is if I provide value of some kind. If I provide value, she will stay. If I don't, she won't. Oh, people are so committed to marriage. No, they're not. 65% of them divorce because they forget to add value to each other. So our job is to add value to an industry that is radically going to change in the next 5 to 10 years. And that's what we're doing. Is everybody with me? You're welcome to say amen if you want to. Anything. All right. So here we go. We're now going to go into B.O.B. And for those of you watching this video for the first time, this is the meat and potatoes of your business. I'm going to go into what is B.O.B., what's the objective of B.O.B., what are the components of B.O.B., and then detail of how to use those components. So B.O.B. is short for Book of Business. What is B.O.B.? I'm going to tell you very, very simply. And many of you in this room have been with me years, and on this call are still missing this. B.O.B. is a production management tool. It is not a calendar. It is not an archive. It is a production management tool. What is the objective of B.O.B.? By the way, the Titanic industry doesn't have production management. It has production records. You have to pay some of these trainers $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, where a guy who sold 6 properties years ago becomes your tutor to tell you how to do 30 properties. There's no logic in it whatsoever. There is not production management in the real estate industry because in the real estate industry, agents have been told they're independent, that the ship is theirs, that it will never go down, and nobody should tell you what to do. You're running your own business, and it is no longer relevant. Production management is the core of the survival of a corporation once it exhausts seed money. The minute seed money goes away, you have to have production. To have production, you have to have production management. And the entire team has, that production manager has to be integrated. I learned at MIT on this course that I did. It's not technology that is the be-all and end-all. It's the integration of the technology. Look how hard I'm working right now to convince everybody here that what I'm saying is right. And I know it's right. Integrating this technology, this approach to business into the minds of people who for 100 years have been taught you really don't have to work that hard is extremely difficult. but I'm up to the challenge. B.O.B is a production management tool. Secondly, what's the objective of B.O.B? Here you go. Number one, you might want to write this down. To provide accountability to lead partners and to the team lead that you're a part of. Why do we need accountability to lead partners? Because they control the traffic. They control the traffic that buys the gas. And it's great that for you it works to do some fancy movie in the park at Corona Del Mar, but why don't you try that in another 1,000 neighborhoods in America where it doesn't work? What the lead providers, those who govern the traffic, they want to know is, are you accountable? What are you doing? When you're selling real estate, what are you doing? What are you saying? Exactly what's your cadence and how can we help you grow? Second objective of B.O.B is to create predictable production for the lead partner and the agent, because you need to know you're going to have enough money. I believe for the average agent on our team, if you do what I'm explaining to you, the average agent will make $80,000 to $100,000 on our team. Those of you who work harder and are more deliberate will make $150,000 to $250,000, even with the changing commission. But the huge if is this: if you trust that the system is changing and you need to change with it. If you don't, and you try and, oh, well, my sister's at, Betty Boop Realty and she does just fine. Great, good for her. That doesn't change the Department of Justice. That doesn't change the 200 million people that visit Zillow every month. That doesn't change the dynamics that happen. She's just an exception. And maybe you can get lucky and be an exception, but clearly 70% of real estate agents cannot. So the objective is provide accountability, create predictable production, and create a continuous horizontal business model. That's our objective of B.O.B. Every single one of you listening to me has built a business based on a vertical model. Cram like crazy, do the open houses, get a buyer, go out, show the buyer. Call expireds, call listings that haven't sold, call FISBOs. If you call enough of them, you get a listing, spend all your time on the listing, sell it, and then repeat. And you can do, I spoke to a guy yesterday who interviewed us, did that 11 times last year. So he's exceptional, 11 times. Remember, we put together 456 transactions last year. We're going to do 650 next year. We're going to go to $1 billion in real estate sales. You have to have systems to do that. And these huge corporations need people who think big, not just small. So, a horizontal business model. You've heard me share it many, many times. I want everybody on this call to understand this. 30, 60, 90. I'll show it in a minute. You start with a client at 90. You take them through stepping stones to move them to 60 and 30. When they hit 30, it's like water in a sprinkler system. It's now ready to come out of the sprinkler. If there's nobody in your 90, you're going to run out of people in your 30. If there's nobody in your 60, you're going to run out of people in your 30. You're operating a vertical business, a business by panic. A lot of people who've got retirement income, a lot of people who've got a spouse who pays the bills are okay with vertical because that's just bonus money, whoopee-doo. But those people who want to be professionals can't do that. They need the money every month. That's what B.O.B is about. So remember, as a team, we need that. As agents, you want predictable income, but our bosses need and must have it. And if we can't provide it, they will go to another team. Zillow is not going to compromise for the real estate industry. The exact reverse. They're disrupting the largest industry in America. They're disrupting it. And the good old boys are standing on the ship saying, no. We weren't allowed to talk about Zillow. Oh, that's an ocean term, by the way. No, you don't poop that. Okay, what is B.O.B? It's a production management tool. Objective, provide accountability, create predictability, and create a continuous horizontal model. Now I'm going to show you through the B.O.B components. So whoever's taking notes, please put where the time is in B.O.B components. Here's the B.O.B components. First of all, the agent name. and details about the agent. Those details include the name, the areas the agent works in, their why, which is right here in green, and their production category. I want you to notice that. This is not a comment on you as a human being, but our job is to produce life to the people stranded on the frozen ocean. So we have to categorize agents in production category. You could be wonderful. You could be going for sainthood with the Pope. That's great. It has nothing to do with production. This team is about production. So Zillow wants to know, what is your production capacity? And what is your production availability? So you know we have three categories: occasional, transitional, and deliberate. That's not a comment on you as a person, it's a comment on your production capacity. How can you create predictability unless you know what capacity there is? How can Amazon work out how many boxes they can ship until they know how many shelves they have and how many boxes can fit on the shelf? So what is your production capacity? Just be honest with yourself and with us, and we will fill up your capacity pipeline. Just be honest with us. First B.O.B component is agent name, area, your production capacity. Second part of this is coaching tips. Look in column D, it says coaching column. There are basics in the coaching column I'm going to go over in a minute, but when we share together B.O.B on Reveal, you will occasionally see specific prompts in the coaching column that we feel you need help on, or you ask for help on, and each week that coaching column will be measured so that we can see, did you or did you not do what we agreed together would be good to do? That's the heart of a professional football team, a professional anything. The real estate industry has not been about professionals. It's been about entitled people in that huge Titanic ballroom who somehow by inheritance have inherited the right with 40 hours of study that they probably didn't really do to get huge amounts of money from people who didn't know they were paying them. Picture that ballroom in the Titanic. That's the real estate industry. Now suddenly the ocean is reclaiming what's theirs. The ocean is the consumer saying, no, it's about us. And now let us tell you how we want you to float your boat on our ocean. It's amazingly exciting. The end game of this for me is not in this room, for any of us. When you hear the people that we're talking to right now, do you realize how many companies, including the one we're in, are absolutely frantically looking for solutions like this? So on the one hand, Zillow is looking for solutions, Realtor.com is looking for solutions, Movoto is looking for solutions. They text us all the time. Can you please follow up on this? Can you please follow up on that? Can you please follow up on this? They're looking for solutions. At the same time, the industry, anybody who wants to be in industry, they're looking for solutions. And the companies that are, running that industry, everybody's looking for solutions. I personally think the MLS is going to go away in the next 5 years. And it'll disappear. So everybody's saying, what's next? And I believe because we're intelligent enough to perceive where it's going, we're going to make more money than we've ever made. Why? Because we're giving a better service than we've ever given. So, B.O.B components, coaching tips. Third piece is the agent calendar. That's where it says showings calendar in column C. The fourth element or component is the 30, 60, 90-day columns right there. 30, 60, 90. There it is. Column E, F, and G. The next element of B.O.B is the customer stepping stone stage by color. What does that mean? It means these customers right here have colors assigned to them right here that show that you are progressing that client from can't buy to can buy. from don't know what to do to reverse purchase, from don't know what to do to income qualifying loan or asset qualifying loan. You're moving people from right to left horizontally. So that's called the customer stepping stone stage. It's by color code. The next component is your production overview. Your production overview is measured by what did you close last month? What are you closing this month? And what have you put in escrow in each week of this month? That's predictability. Because now you go, what we've done in the past, we've gone, oh, I've had a great month. Again, for my analogy, like a golfer. You should have seen me on hole 12. I hit it 400 yards off the tee, and then I scored 2 under par. And okay, what happened on hole 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 16, 17, and 18, right? Because you came in with a 94. But that's what we do as agents. We brag about our one hole. I just got me a $5 million listing. And that's what we do. The idea here is that we can create something consistent and predictable, that you can build a business for your children and your children's children. That's my commitment to you. And I want to take this on enterprise level. That's why we're talking to venture capitalists and investment brokers, because I'm not going to them, look, I got a good idea. Can you find me a real estate company that can do it? I'm going, I've got a great idea. We've got great agents like Pat, Rachel, Lauren, and others in this room who are doing it and are producing when nobody else is. It's working. So Bob's components, the agent details, the coaching tips, the agent calendar, your 30-60-90 management column, your colorizing, your production overview by month, last month, this month, and what you are doing week by week. And the final element is top picks, which is in column B. Those are the components of Bob. Now I'm going to explain to you how they work. Everybody got it so far? You're all with me, right? Mm-hmm. I warned you this is going to be granular, okay? So here come the components. Again, I have to share with you. Each of these components is based on 44 years of real estate sales, not real estate sales, 34 years of real estate sales, 44 years of sales that I've done since I left college. The principles of how people act have not changed. Their demands have changed, and how they interface with us has changed, but still you have the baseline issue, which is this. You have a buyer, you have a seller. You have a product, you have a purchaser. The product has to be presented through a medium, whatever the medium is at the time. That has not changed. And buyers and sellers usually are very uncomfortable with each other. Most people don't go to marketplaces and haggle for product, but real estate is a haggle. That structure has not changed. So until buyers just are all so kumbaya, they think sellers are wonderful and they'll never rip them off, there's always going to need to be somebody representing a buyer. And until buyers don't have to work and can look at property all the time, and there's no competition, and whatever house they want, they can buy anytime they want, until that day comes, full-time professionals are needed to make sure that you get in there first. That is not going away. Do you understand this? Do not let people make you afraid. What I said at the beginning is happening. But to me, it's an opportunity, not a loss. Is everybody with me? But to maximize on this, kids, we have to follow a structure. Then Zillow could turn around and say, hey, we've got 20 states we need you to go to. Right? And everybody here, one way or another, are going to have a piece of what that company looks like. It's very exciting. So, let's go into how to use Bob's components. First of all, agent name. We have agents who've been on here, you've heard me say this 10 times, still haven't completed this. So you know what I did? I went in to 65 agents, I did it for you. Just so that you can see what the vision is. First of all, what's your name? Now, right next to, let's pull Don here, for example. Right next to Don is 24, 24, 24. So I said, agent details is about your name and your production category. He's turning around and saying, I am part of the 24 agents who do 24 deals in 2024. That's his mentality. He is saying, I will do whatever it takes to do 24, 24, 24. It's not a song that he sings. It's not a motivational video he watches. It's a commitment of his time and energy. So now he's defined who he is. Under that, he says where he's working in the IE and the desert. So now we know where he is, where he will work. You go over to column C and it says transitional agent. So watch this. He right now is saying my production category is transitional. But when I hit 24, I'll be deliberate. So he's being honest. He's saying right now, my production category, so the minimum for transitional production category is 12 sales a year. 4 quarters, 3 a quarter, that's 1 a month. So by the end of March 31st, Don has to have 3 properties closed to justify the transitional agent production capacity. So he's defining it, not, oh, I have a vision to be. We just had like 11 people leave the team and 14 more people join the team because the 11 people who left the team said, oh, I'm going to do 20, I'm going to do 30. But they're not here, they don't make calls, they don't do LODs. They don't answer WhatsApp, they can't close, they're not following the protocol. They're lovely people. I'll invite them to my house to play pitch and putt on the back lawn. But Zillow can't trust them. Zillow has to know, as does Realtor.com, as does the ocean that our lifeboat is floating on, will you be there when I need you? So, first category, how do you use it? Put your name in. Are you a 24, 24, 24? Are you going to do 12 this year? 6 this year? What are you committing to? Whatever you're committing to, where are you right now? What did you do over the last 3 months? Did you do 4 to 11? Did you do 12 to 23? Or did you do 24 plus? Face the reality. Now we know how to distribute, here it comes, leads. Now we know what to do with the assets. Can I give you a quick example? Is everybody still with me? Yes? Diamond dealer. I love to buy jewels for my wife. We go to LA, thousands of diamond dealers. A diamond dealer has a stand in one of the malls. Do you think they pay for all those diamonds cash? Where do they come from? All the guys in the offices up above, they're the ones with the real money, going up 25 floors. Safes full of diamonds. They assign diamonds to Annette'sJewelry.com on the ground floor. Why would they assign you 2 cases of diamonds? Because your production capacity. You as a jeweler say, well, you know what? I only work now 3 or 4 hours a day and I'm done pretty well and I got a nice house and a nice car. They'll go, okay, well, here's 10 diamonds. If somebody else goes, I'm hungry. I don't have any retirement income. I can't depend on the military to pay me. I don't have a wife or husband paying the bills. I need to work. I want to make money, serious money. I'm here at 6 in the morning. I'm done at 7 at night. I take 1 day a week off. I'm accountable. You can reach me. They'll go, hey, let me just empty out this safe. Stick it in your case. And I'll assign a security guard to you. And that's exactly how the jewelry district works. More money in the jewelry district than some of the coffers of the United States government. And that's how it works. Because the assignment of asset is directly proportionate to the production capacity of the person to whom it's being assigned. Does everybody understand? So Zillow's saying, we want to assign thousands to you, but Andrew, you've got 4,500 updates that are overdue because your agents still have a part-time mentality. They're not taking it seriously. We can't give you any more leads because they keep ignoring their updates. On a positive side, they say, your system's working because you're producing. Let's have a look at Bob and see who is Aja showing property to? Who is in her calendar? Who is on her top 5? Oh my gosh, she's really working with these people. Let's give her more. All they're looking for is what is your production capacity? So, first portion is agent details. By the way, I want to say this. We do not use terms to classify an agent like full-time or part-time. All the best on your, she's going out right now to go sell a home. We do not use terms like full-time or part-time. Listen to this. For production, we use the term available time. See, the Titanic was about full-time entitlement. The lifeboats were about who could pull the oars before you froze to death. Who could pull the oars to the mainland or to the ship that would save them so they can build a new business? We're going to build a new business. So we categorize people not by full-time, part-time, but by available time. All right, let's go to the second part. I said, first of all, let me share with you the components. Now, how to use the components. Does everybody understand how to use your agent name and your designation? Does everybody understand? Yes. Okay, online. If you do, just put up a few hands. Let me know you're with us. Next, coaching tips. So our system is very simple. What is complex about it is we're trying to teach deckhands on the Titanic how to row a huge rowing boat that is governed by the ocean, not governed by some entitled guy who's captain who believes he's all that. And that's very difficult. Don't you notice, and I know this because I grew up in this kind of environment. I grew up with lords and ladies and their sons and daughters, and they're incredibly entitled. And guess what? Everybody who works for them is entitled too. Monkey see, monkey do. Everybody who works for them is entitled to. And that's the problem in the real estate industry, because the leadership believes they're invincible. Everybody underneath the leadership thinks they're invincible too. And now you've got to turn to those people and say, I'm really sorry, you're incredibly vulnerable. Look at the statistics, but let me show you something that we can do that can make us strong. So coaching tips, our system's really simple. Look over here in column D, line 16. And each of you has this. You see right here? Dominic Dye, same thing. Rachel Hansen, same thing. Stephanie Walker, same thing. All the way down. What is our system? If you're going to do 24 deals in a year, you need to meet 4 new ISA appointments a week. So you see right here, it says 4 new appointments. You're going to show. I didn't say pre-screen. I didn't say edit because you think they're beneath you. I didn't say turn up your nose because it's a piece of land. Because it's numbers. You're going to show. Pat just showed a 40K piece of land, put it in escrow, got another $200,000 of business on the back of it because the guy bought 2 more lots. Classic example. We've had multiple agents show a $50,000 piece of land, end up selling a $400,000 home. So, if you want the numbers to work to create a pattern that's predictable, do you understand that if 5 times a year you get lucky and your pastor's kid needs to buy a house, you do 5 deals, you've made money. I'm not saying you're not welcome here, but you're not predictable. We can't trust you with millions, tens of millions of dollars of leads when your attitude is, all I need is to get 2.5% out of 5 people and I've made enough money. You can be here, but you can't have a lot of Zillow's assets. Because Zillow holds me and Annette and our team accountable. And another 150 teams, so they're accountable to their shareholders. Because the shareholders want to see production. Now in the past, and this article I read to you says it, real estate companies just hired thousands of real estate agents knowing that they had a dream of being a Beverly Hills housewife, and they would come in and do, or house husband, and they would come in and do their 3 or 4 deals and find they didn't make enough money, but the company took the split and they're good with it, just hire 1,000 more. But the future industry is about the consumer, it's not about the agent. That old policy is going away. And that's why so many of these brokerages are closing their doors. Listen closely to me. Coaching tips. Our basics. 4 new appointments. Every week you're going to show new and BAM-FAM clients. Every week. When you show you're going to follow our procedure, you show 3, you score them 1 out of 10. That's our system. Oh, but Andrew, you don't understand. I know these people so well. Yeah, I do understand. Yeah, after 35 years, I get it. You think they're loyal and they're not going anywhere, but the minute you leave them, they're going to get in the car, sit down, go to a restaurant, tap on Realtor.com, see a property, tap it, and they're going to be gone. But I went to school with them. Can I tell you something? There's a very influential school in this town here that I've spent over $250,000 on that school. And there are multiple real estate agents who take their kids to that school. I'm not very involved in the school. I'm kind of a dark horse. You know how many homes I've sold to people who run that school? Because they don't want the entitled real estate agents fighting with each other. They want somebody who doesn't know what's going on. Do you know how many people's brothers and sisters I've sold property to? Because they don't want the brother to know what they've got saved or haven't got saved or what their credit is or haven't got credit. Do you know how many probates and other properties have been sold but it's not a family member because the family members are squabbling, trying to get, I could go on all day long. And now on top of that, just regular buyers are surging, swarming, besieging Zillow and Realtor.com, besieging them. And let me tell you something, that person you think is your friend, I'm going to sell him a house. I'm going to sell a house to your mother.